When we talk about a line, it really has two fundamental properties: its slope and its intercepts. And most of the time, we're primarily going to be interested in the y-intercept. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to be able to look at a line's equation and get those two pieces of information from it. Now, some of you may have talked about the equation of a line before. You may know where I'm going with this, right? And if you do, that's great. But mathematicians, one thing we're really particular about is not getting ahead of ourselves. I'd like to know what the equation and intercept of this line are, but the only way, based on everything we've talked about so far, that I have to find the slope of a line is by taking 2 points that are on the line and putting them into that slope formula. Right? And we can do that here. Right? I just need to find the coordinates of 2 points. So to do that, I'm going to start by picking an x value. I'm going to say let x equal 0. I can pick any number that I like, right? I like to pick 0 because a lot of times it makes things easier. If I put that into the equation, it becomes y equals 3 halves times 0 plus 2, which is 2. Right, so the first point is 0, 2. Right, now I need a second one. So I need to pick a second x value. Like I said, I can pick any value I like, and a lot of people, they would kind of just naturally go to 1 as their next number. And that's fine. I'm going to go to 2. The reason I picked 2, just watch, you'll see in just a second. If I put 2 in here, this becomes 3 halves times 2 plus 2. And you see what's going to happen there with that fraction, right? The 2's are going to cancel. This is just 3 plus 2, which is 5. So my second point is 2, 5. All right, so now go to the slope formula. The slope is the difference of the y coordinates, that's 5 minus 2, over the difference of the x coordinates, that's 2 minus 0. 5 minus 2 is 3, 2 minus 0 is 2, and there's my slope. Right, so the slope of my line is 3 halves. And my y-intercept, you notice I already found that already, right? When I pick 0 over here, my y-intercept is 2. Now, I want you to notice, right, the y-intercept is this number here at the end, and the slope is this number here in front of the x. Right? That's not a coincidence. This is always going to be the case with a linear equation. So when we have an equation that's in this form where we've solved it for y, right? It looks like y equals something. This is what we call the slope-intercept form of the equation. I think of it as the nice form, because when you've got it in this form, you can get all sorts of information from it without doing any more calculations. You just pull out the numbers. The slope is the number in front of the x. The y-intercept is the other number. So let's look at an example here. I've got an equation for us to look at, and I want to find the slope and the y-intercept. Well, to do that, first, just so we're clear, the slope is not 5, and the y-intercept is not negative 4. Every once in a while, I get that from a student, right? They think, okay, the slope is the number in front of the x. That's 5. Well, yes and no. It's the number in front of the x if we have the equation in that y equals something slope-intercept form. Right? So to get it there, right, I'm going to start with my equation, 5x plus 2y equals negative 4. And I'm going to solve this for y. Right? So I'll subtract 5x from both sides. This becomes 2y equals minus 5x minus 4. And then divide everything by 2. 2 is over here. Cancel. Y equals negative 5 halves x minus 2. And now I can answer my question. The slope is negative 5 halves. Just negative 5 halves. Notice I didn't include the x. Right? It's just the number part. And the y-intercept is negative 2. All right, so let's see how we can use this information in a slightly different way. And all the questions that we've talked about up until now, and all of the lectures previous to this one, I've given you a linear equation and asked you questions about it. Right, now I want to go the other way. Right now I'm giving you 2 points that are on the line, and I'm saying, okay, what's this line's equation? Well, the general rule to find the equation of a line, you have to know 2 things. You have to know the slope of the line, and you have to know the coordinates of a point on the line. Right? Now, we've got 2 points. We've got more points than we know what to do with there. We don't have the slope. All right, but that's okay, right? Because we've got our formula. Our formula says that the slope of this line is 6 minus 5, that's the difference of the y values, over minus 1 minus 0. 6 minus 5 is 1. Negative 1 minus 0 is negative 1. This one came out really nice. It's negative 1. All right, so now I'm going to take that slope-intercept equation, y equals mx plus b, and I know what m is, right? That's negative 1, so let's put that in there. This is y equals negative x plus b. And if you look at the second point, right, notice how the first coordinate, the x-coordinate of the second point is 0. Right? That's excellent. That means that point is on the y-axis, which means 5 is the y-intercept of the line. So I'm just going to put 5 in here for b, y equals negative x plus 5, and there you go. There's the equation of the line. All right, so in the next lecture, we're going to look at an example, right? Another example of how to take 2 points and find the equation of the line through them using this slope-intercept equation. And that one is going to be just a little bit trickier because I got lucky on that last question. I got lucky because we were given the y-intercept as one of the points, right? In the next example, we'll look at what to do when you don't actually know the y-intercept up front.